Okay, so just continue on with the old order following and just finishing up here with the ancillary cult members, right? So we have a look at here how these guys are marching in lockstep, right? So it's very mesmerizing when you look at that, just like this, right? Because there's something about synchronicity that we enjoy, and it's quite a beautiful thing. And the problem is, it's what are they synchronized to serve? That's what we need to ask ourselves. Are they synchronized to serve the advancement and enrichment of life? Or these people here, are they synchronized to take from the advancement and enrichment of life, to make sure we go backwards, yeah, and we live in hell? That's the question, right? It's not so much the synchronicity, but it's what it's appropriated in the service of. That's the issue. So, here we go. All these people here, they come cheering it, right? They're not even aware what they're cheering. They're cheering their own enslavement, totally unconscious of it. That's how pervasive this is. It just gets in under, and people are seduced by what the superficial expression is without realizing what the true nature of it is. And that's the level of consciousness we need to be able to get to if we want to take personal responsibility. And that's why I'm doing these videos, guys, to really show you how easily you can be tricked and how you can actually act in the service of that which you're seeking. But you need to be able to actually identify it, then accept it, because once you accept your limits, then only then can you go beyond them. So, here's the thing about the supporters, right, is that without realizing it, they're the destroyers of their own freedom. This is the tragic part, right? And then what we all do, most of us do, is, well, it's always someone else's fault, right? Someone's telling us what to do. So it's easy to go and put it on these guys, right? Because that's the easy way. We all know who's doing where it's all coming from, right? We know it's coming from these guys with the funny hats, these guys in these kind of military uniforms, the bankers, right? The politicians. But really, right, what can they really do? They're such a small number, right? Those people can't do anything by themselves unless they have a big army of order followers to actually carry it out. So yes, are they guilty? Yes. Are they liable? Yes, absolutely. And there's a mechanism by which we can actually bring them to heel and accountable. That's the beautiful part. But it's not going to happen while the rest of the people absolve themselves from any responsibility for following the orders, right? That's the issue, right? Is you need to come into your own. So how do you do that? That's the thing. So all of us who are sitting there saying it's always someone else's fault, they're doing it, right? So we're passing on the responsibility, right, to those who give the orders. And the Milgram experiment proved how easily that occurs, right? Because the structure has been set up to create dependence, and dependence is slavery. Yet, until there's personal acknowledgement that following orders is still a choice, regardless of how unpleasant the consequences, then we remain stagnant and we allow chaos to continue. So this is about us having our personal courage to really take ownership of that we are above the rulership control of others. We still have a choice. We mightn't like it, but we still have the choice. So we have made it and we take responsibility for making that choice. That's the true nature of how change can happen. And so once we do that, right, then we can step into our power and use the very mechanism that was created to protect us, ourselves, and use those people, the order followers, to work for us, right? So I'm just going to show you here Article 39 of the 1215 Magna Carta. So it's a very important wording here that explains just why this is the solution out. Even though man's biggest fear is that there's only one solution, right? Or there's only one singular truth. That's what it's going to require us to do, is to step past that and realize that there is only one singular solitary truth. So no free man shall be seized or imprisoned or stripped of his rights. Now this has all been about rights, right? It even says it here, stripped of his rights or possessions or outlawed or exiled or deprived of his standing in any other way. Now this is what happens every day with these order followers. They go ahead and do this, right? So this is a contract that was written of what the government is not allowed to do, because here it is right here in that word we, nor will we proceed with force against him. Now when they say we, that's the monarch, right? That's government. That's what that means, right? The contract is on what they're not allowed to do. This is what really needs to be understood. There's no other contract that has that in there. This is the contract, and there's no contract on us, we the people, because they'd need to have an individual one, a one with us individually if that was the case, and that doesn't exist, right? But there is a contract from us the people to them, those who are meant to act in our service, right? It says that those who act in our service will not proceed with force against him or send others to do so. The only way it'll happen is that it'll be by the lawful judgment of his equals. So only we, the people, can judge each other. That's what it says. There's no other way it can happen. Or by the law of the land, right? And what's the law of the land? That which we, the people, already set up, because we've lived by it for thousands of years. So that's our singular truth, guys. We just need to pick it up and use it. And if you look at Article 40, it says something very similar. It says, how to no one will we, again we, that being government, sell, to no one will we, again, government, deny or delay the right of justice. Now, how long has that been happening? It hasn't. Do you know what I mean? So they've been in breach of their contract forever. It's just a matter of us, we the people, picking up that contract and using it to show them, and then make them accountable by their own contract, right? That's why it's indefeatable, guys. You really need to get this. And look at this, Article 61 also says that officials have no liability protection under the Constitution. Remember the contract that they signed, or sealed, should I say, being back, in 1215, and that was the way that government was agreed that it can be legitimate, right, by the people. Otherwise, it's illegitimate, right? So that we can hold them to that. All we need to do is pick it up and use it. It's really that simple, guys. So I want to finish off with just a comment with truth, and then this should be done. So I'm pretty pleased about that. I'll be right back. All right, I think I said this one earlier. Man's greatest fear is that there is only one universal singular truth. And that truth is natural law, guys. And if we would been living in alignment with it, we wouldn't be having any of these horrors. It's just that simple. It's just a matter of time until everyone catches up and works that out. And the other one I really like, it's really landed for me, is there's only one truth. And if you ignore it, you waste time. So it's time for us to stop ignoring it as a collective and start using the truth. Because if we use the truth, then we'll be going and telling the military, right, and the police, right, that they are there to act in the service of us. Their role exists into protection of us, and there is a truth to how that can happen. They just need to be able to see it for themselves. We need to help them break from that mind control program that they've been put under, so they can act in the service of us. Those who obviously are willing to do so. There'll be plenty that won't be. However, if we don't try, we'll never find out. So we need to give it a red hot go, guys. It's the only way, So this is the thing. Once they learn, what the true constitution is, what a true constable is. A constable is someone who needs to actually have full knowledge of natural law, and none of them do. And they need to know the laws of the land. That's all they're there to protect and guard. Because if they understood natural law, there would be none of this taken in private recruitment and all this cult program. It just never would happen. Same with the military. We probably never need them, actually, to think about it. We wouldn't need these weapons, because if we were living in line with natural law, weapons aren't necessary, because there'd be no one hurting each other. There'd be no crime. These seem like really big steps from where we are now. It doesn't mean it's not possible. It just requires will, guys. Because you can't create anything unless you actually have the conviction first. And you need to have the capacity to use your imagination to actually launch into that space where you can see the field of possibility. And if you see the field of possibility, then you can help create the steps to actually make it a reality. So that's what we're missing, guys. So we just need more people to step into that space. So I'm hoping you guys will come and join me in there.